I've had this DELVAUX Cool Box Mini for 2 months now. Do I love it? Yes, but are there also things I would change about this bag? Yes. Today we're going to take an in-depth review of this bag, and I'll tell you everything that I love as well as a few considerations you should be aware of before buying this bag. Hey there, this is Lula LV. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're having a wonderful day. On this channel, I talk mostly about Louis Vuitton. However, sometimes we talk about other luxury brands, and today's video is going to be all about DELVAUX, specifically this cool box in the size mini. I purchased this bag 2 months ago. I wanted to wait a few months before posting this review because I wanted to have a chance to really use the bag, get to know it, and give you a really in-depth review of all the pros and cons of this bag. In my unboxing video that I posted, I showed all the packaging, the box, the dust bag, and I talked about the purchasing experience. So if you're interested in the customer service, packaging, all of that, please start with my unboxing video and then you can come back here or just watch it next. I will have it linked in the description box below. But just to quickly summarize, the customer service experience I had was excellent. The packaging was also pristine. I mean, everything was wrapped up. The strap was wrapped up and secured. The bag with tissue paper, everything had its own individual dust bag. Everything was 10 out of 10 with purchasing and receiving this bag. Now let's move on to the review of the actual bag. I'm going to break this down into segments and we'll take a look at first the size of the bag, we'll take a look at the strap and the carrying options, what fits, as well as some issues or considerations to be aware of when wearing this bag. Let's start out with the overall quality and construction of this bag. DELVAUX is known for being a brand with very high quality construction as well as high quality leather. I would agree with that. This bag came to me in perfect condition. I did a thorough examination of the bag when I received it. All of the stitching and the seams were perfectly aligned. There were no issues with any marks or indentations in the leather. The quality of the leather, I have to say, is some of the best I've ever experienced. The interior of the bag, let me flip it this way, has a beautiful full leather pocket on the inside. The lining is also just the suede backside of the leather, so it has this beautiful leather smell to it, but it's not overwhelming. I'm not typically a person who will smell my bags or be obsessed with this leather smell, but I have to admit, for someone who isn't into that, even I noticed this has a gorgeous leather smell to it. This is a Torreon leather. I believe the leather is sourced from Spain, but don't quote me on that. And the only issue I noticed with quality is very minor. I actually don't notice this when I use the bag in person. I've tried looking for it when I'm wearing the bag, and honestly, I really don't notice it. The only time I notice it is when I'm either filming or photographing this bag, but if you're not on social media, when are you really filming or photographing your bags? Probably not. So the one issue is the stitching here on the end of this seam. So the stitching goes straight across, but in order to end the stitch in the hole that I assume already existed, so I think they stitched down the long end first, and then when they stitched across, they needed to just go up a little bit to get the stitch in that hole. That is the only defect, if you will, or quality issue with this bag. So it is noticeable when I film or photograph the bag, but to be perfectly honest with you, since I noticed it, I do try to look for it when I'm wearing the bag, and it's really hard to notice. There's also no issue with any of the glazing along any of the seams, and everything is really great. So quality, construction, leather, 10 out of 10, no complaints. Now let's move on to talking about the size of the bag. For the size of the bag, I was a little disappointed because the size of my bag is slightly different than what's listed on the website. Online, this is listed as 9.5 inches in length, 4.5 inches in width, and 5 inches in height. However, my bag is slightly smaller. So let's grab this measuring tape and take a look. The length, as I said, online is listed as 9 inches. Here you can see it is just slightly longer than 8 inches in length. So it is almost a full inch shorter than I expected. If you include the hardware on the outside of the bag, yes, maybe then I could see the measurement being 9 inches in length. However, when I think of the measurement of a bag, I consider the actual bag compartment for the measurements. I wouldn't think to include this hardware on the outside of the bag as part of the measurement, or the handles on the outside as part of the measurement. I think of the bag size as the actual length of the bag compartment itself. So this is a little misleading. I don't know if the measurements of my bag are slightly off, but it was slightly smaller than I expected. In terms of the depth of the bag, that was listed as 4.5 inches. And here you can see it's just about 4 inches, maybe even a little shorter than 4 inches. It's not 4.5. Again, maybe this could be 4.5 inches in depth if you included the handles on the outside as part of the measurement, but in my mind, why would you do that? That doesn't really make sense to me. So it's about a 1/2 inch less in depth and 1 inch less in width, or in length, excuse me. That's pretty significant. The height, however, is pretty accurate. So that's the one measurement that was accurate per the listing on their website, but this was a bit smaller than I expected. Please just be aware of that if you're ordering the mini size. I'm not sure if it's just my particular bag or not. However, this discrepancy in the size was of course not enough for me to return the bag because I still have it. The shape of the bag is pretty wide compared to the length, so it's just a big rectangle and you can fit a lot in here for being a smaller size bag. So that is the great thing about this bag. Even though it is relatively small, because of the shape, it can really fit a lot. I'm going to do a quick cutaway here to show you what fits inside. Okay, here she is. Let's see what fits. With nothing in this bag, it weighs 1 pound 3 ounces. So if you would like to know how much this bag will weigh with all of your things in it, you can just weigh your items and add 1 pound 3 ounces to the total weight. This fits so much in it. There is room in the top of the bag, so you could fit a pair of sunglasses in a soft case in the top of the bag as well. This fits the mini pochette accessoire, a small bifold wallet, a cell phone, the Louis Vuitton 6-key holder, a pair of earphones, and a key pouch that I've used to store extra cards. And as I said before, you could additionally fit a pair of sunglasses along the top of the bag. These are as much items as I would fit in the bag, but they do all fit really nicely. And that's what you can fit in this bag. This entire section of the video is dedicated just to talking about the strap of this bag because, believe it or not, I have a lot to say about this strap. This is actually my least favorite part of this bag. So first, let's take a look at the hardware where the strap connects. I have one side off and one side on so you can see better. There's a really small hook here, a really small clasp. I forget at the moment, it's escaping me what this piece of hardware is called. And it really just tucks right under the handle when you have the handles up. Here it is with the strap attached, and as you can see, there's no hardware to attach it. The leather just threads through this hook, and then there's like a button here with 3 different adjustment options, and then there is one strap holder here. I'm really bad with the vocabulary today. And another one here to keep the end flat so it doesn't curl up. However, as you can see, with the strap attached, if you were to hold this by the handles, it does push in the leather right here. You can see it indents. So when I have the strap attached to this bag, I don't like to carry it with the handles up. There is a hook here to keep your handles together, where you can just hook that right around. So I always leave this bit unhooked, and I always carry it with the handles dropped down along the side of the bag. To carry it with the handles up and the strap attached, it does push this in and it indents into the leather. So I avoid doing that. That's one consideration to take into account if you plan on using this crossbody with the strap and switching between top handle use. I personally don't like that. As I said before, there's 3 adjustments on each side. So 3 here and 3 on this side. This is what it looks like when it's open, and it just pops right through, and there's 1, 2, 3 on each side. On the longest setting, this is 48 inches in length. On the shortest setting, it's 45 inches in length, so there's really not a whole variety of length. After filming, I remeasured the strap and realized I made a mistake. 45 inches is actually the longest strap length. The shortest strap length is 42 inches. Additionally, the width of the strap is 3/4 of an inch, which is about 2 centimeters. I also want to show you that if you wanted to make the strap longer, there's really no room for an extra hole at the end of the strap. This is really at the end. And if you wanted to make it shorter, there is a bit of space here where you could put a hole, but you would have to wrap it so tightly around that really wouldn't work. So unfortunately, there's really no option if you wanted to alter this strap to make it shorter or longer. But that being said, you could always remove this and use a different strap instead. Now I'm going to take a quick break to reattach this side of the strap, and then we'll come back and I'll tell you another consideration. Now for wearing this bag, I actually find the crossbody strap to not be that comfortable, and that's because this attaches diagonally. It's in the back on one side, on the front on the other. So when you're carrying it, at least on me, crossbody, the bag tends to rotate a little bit. So I'm wearing it and the bag will just slightly rotate in towards my body when I'm walking, and then I have to keep adjusting it so it sits flat or straight. So it just slowly rotates in towards me when I'm wearing it. And for me, that just kind of annoys me, and I keep having to turn it out. So wearing this crossbody is really my least favorite way to use it, and that's how I thought I would be wearing this bag. I thought I would be wearing this crossbody. However, what I've found out is that I actually prefer to carry it as a long shoulder bag. I put it on the shortest setting on each side and then just put it over my shoulder. And I'm not going to do a mod shot right now because I have the settings, 2 different settings here, but I'll include mod shots at the end of the video. And this I actually find a great length to be a long shoulder when it's on the shortest setting. So those are quite a few considerations to take into account with this bag. Overall, even though I do have a few issues with this bag, I do still like it. It's a great everyday bag, and the quality is honestly hands down better than any other bag I own. I own a lot of Louis Vuitton bags, and I have to admit this quality is better. Even though this individual style has a few issues that I wish I could change, I'm still interested in exploring more bags by DELVAUX because I am just that impressed by the quality as well as their customer service experience. So I will definitely be looking into more of their bags in the future. Thank you so much for watching until the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. I'm going to say goodbye to you now and insert those mod shots. Bye-bye.